We are here with Checkers, our resident Shetland, in the extra small cooler lounge. Checkers hasn't had any work for quite some time, partly due to my health issues and then the ongoing storms and rain. So I think I'm talking months, like a good couple of months break. So I am happy that his behaviour is actually pretty exemplary. If you remember some of Checker's previous videos, he was a raging little nightmare on four legs. But he's tiny, so
I think I need a new lunging whip.
And he never actually towed me all over the arena.
It's horrible.
He would kick up and be a little monster. So we're just discussing the lunging whip, which is not relevant to long-reining Checkers. However, I find a lunging whip with a shorter handle much easier to balance and manage. This is one of those whips that unscrews in the middle, so not only does it unscrew when I'm lunging horses, but I find it too heavy and unbalanced and actually quite difficult to utilise. Don't use the whip to beat the horse. The whip is a training aid to urge the horse on. If a horse comes in too close, you can put it at the shoulder to move them away from you.
Hello.
So it is, yes, as I said, it's a training aid. That is my friend Courtney, probably with wine in her hand, that just came across the camera. So as you can see, Checkers is travelling fairly straight in both directions. Now what I mean by straight is that his body from pole to tail is following that line that he's travelling on. Back feet are stepping up into footprints left by the front feet. And he's working in a fairly round frame. So
I'm all good.
even though he's not broken in yet, he still needs to develop that carrying power. Future plan is that he is going to be a kid's pony. And we also need to work on our communication and his obedience. So he can be a little bit bossy on the ground when he feels like it. So I find working him on the long reins helps to open the lines of communication. He has a bit in his mouth, so by the time he's actually ready to be backed, he will be well and truly mouthed. And now that he's back in work in preparation for the 2025 show season, we will be working him twice a week to keep those lines of communication open in the cooler lounge and doing some more in-hand work with him. So you can see he's changing direction quite easily there. And definitely staying straight. There's a little bit of a drift there towards the gate. So these behaviours that he exhibits on the long reins will also be exhibited under saddle in the future. So the better we can get him going on the long reins, the more obedient, the straighter, the more balanced he is, the easier he's going to be for a very small person to ride him. Not me, I am too big. He needs a very small person. Excellent change of direction, Checkers. Excellent. So because I want to start preparing him for in-hand work, I do want to start moving him around the arena a little bit more on the long reins rather than just going in circles. Because if he can stay out...
The quality of his canter has improved so much.
That's Beck, his owner. If he can stay out away from me on the long reins, then I'm going to have an easier time getting him to walk and trot out next to me or his handler. I'm not even sure I can run yet. So the cooler lunge helps to balance him, keep him straight, as I said, so following that line that he's travelling on. And then this improved carrying capacity, they take this through into the paddock as well, so they don't just work in a round frame and start to lift up their back, engage the lumbar, engage the thoracic sling, and then go back to cruising around like a hollow horse in the paddock. Like, he's not going to be actually on the bit, but he will utilise those muscles more. because it becomes muscle memory. So imagine that you walk with a limp every day and then that pain goes away, but that's the muscle memory of how your body's been walking with a limp. So you're still going to want to do that. Like I favour my left leg a lot because my left hip used to hurt. It's not hurting at the moment, but I still favour that left leg and I'll stand crooked. Good boy, Checkers. So I'm just wanting to move him down the long side and keep him staying the same distance away from me. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But see, he cut across there, so then I'm going to walk with him and walk across the arena. And so I always want to stay like just a little bit behind the shoulder. Or if I want to change direction, I start to move to the other side and lengthen my outside rein and shorten my inside rein. Circles are always your friend. This would be better if I could do more than a fast walk / extremely slow ridiculous jog. That's probably as fast as I get. That's me. Look how fast I am. So I'm hoping that sorts itself out before the show season starts. Or I'm going to need multiple people running for me. I would like to get him to a stage where I can move on the long reins and I can trot him down the long side and he stays straight, not just circling around me. So part of the long reining, the training process, is to teach them to stay the same distance away from you. This then carries through into your in-hand work, so he's not trying to come across on top of me. A judge wants to see your horse trot out straight, not wobbly. They want to see nice straight action. So if your horse is trying to come across you, that's not straight. So when I'm running a horse out, I have my arm out to the side, not, when I'm like out, I want that horse out next to me, staying that distance away from me and running out. So this is part of that practicing process here. He needs to stay out at the distance that I put him at on the long reins. In fact, it's probably more difficult doing it on the long reins, but it sets it up and it makes it easier for the in-hand work. Good halt, Checkers. Yes, and I'm going to bring him in, get the gear off of him, and do a little bit of handwork with him. Just very limited amount because I'm limited on my capacity of mobility.
He's like, it's hot and I'm a baby.
Okay, so I've taken all the gear off Checkers.
Put your thing away.
That was big. I kept the too long whip because I didn't bring a dressage whip with me. However, I've just put it in half and kept the whip end because it's much lighter than the handle end. Next time I need to remember to bring a dressage whip, but I don't want to be that too demanding person. It's like, go and get me a whip. So I'm just asking Checkers to walk with me and stay with me, which he's not wanting to do. So I'm just going to move him off pressure, move the shoulders away from me.
I have a butterfly
halt.
lead if you want.
And I want him to be able to move his shoulders away in both directions. Because if he doesn't hold straight, I need to be able to just quickly fix him up, or his handler does. Good, that's nice and square. And then coming in towards me. Good job, Checkers. So if he's not going to follow me, we have a problem. So if he's not going to follow with me, he's not going to stay with me and trot out next to me. Not that I can run, but you know what I mean. Good, better. So when I want him to stop. I want him to stop straight next to me, not turn into me. This is the next challenge. And it's even harder because I can't run, so he's really got to go for me to sort of hobble along next to him. I don't want to drag him. I want him to trot out next to me. Dex finger. Yeah, good boy. And then it's hard for me to get going, so this is hard work.
He's like,
Only if you work for it, he says. There we go.
bare minimum there.
That's it. And so then he trots out. I want him to trot out straight and next to me. And when I want him to stop, I want him to stop and stay straight and next to me. But I'm going to reward that because it's our first in-hand training session where I've asked him to do this, because the last time I tried this, it was I gave up and diverted the training to something else because he just wasn't there. Good boy. And you can hear me. I'm using little voice commands. That's excellent. So he's not trotting out away from me or running away. I'm just not keeping up with him. I want him to trot out. Good, stopping checkers.
Oh, nice square. Oh, no, nearly.
Okay, the last part of our training session is getting checkers to stand up and halt.
The flies.
Square. The flies are driving all of the horses insane. However, unfortunately, it's just a problem with process, so he just keeps lifting that right front leg up and stomping it rather than standing square. However, it's something that needs to be practiced, so they get used to it. Now, if you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel, coolerlunch.com.
Got someone straight after me. I'll just.